What if I told you that some of the vegetables you've been eating your entire life, the ones everyone told you were healthy, might actually be accelerating your aging process? And what if just by swapping these 4 common vegetables with 4 powerful alternatives, you could potentially add years of vibrant health to your life? Stay with me until the end, because the final insight could completely transform how you approach your health after 60. Hidden truth. The food industry has us believing that all vegetables are created equal, that anything green on your plate means you're doing your body a favor. But after studying longevity practices across cultures and working with thousands of seniors, I've discovered something that most doctors won't tell you. Not all vegetables serve your aging body. Some vegetables, yes, vegetables, can actually work against your digestive system, trigger inflammation, and even accelerate joint pain as you age. Before I reveal which vegetables are secretly sabotaging your health, I need you to understand something crucial. Your body after 60 is fundamentally different from your body at 30 or 40. The digestive enzymes that once easily broke down certain plant compounds have diminished. Your gut microbiome has shifted. Your cellular repair mechanisms work differently. What nourished you perfectly in middle age might now be causing subtle damage that accumulates day after day, eventually manifesting as what we mistakenly call normal aging. But here's what changed everything for me. When I traveled to regions with the highest concentration of centenarians, people living vibrantly into their 100s, I noticed they weren't eating the standard healthy American diet. They were intentionally avoiding certain vegetables that we've been programmed to consider superfoods. Instead, they were prioritizing other plants that specifically support the aging body's unique needs. First revelation. Let's start with perhaps the most controversial vegetable on our worst list. Raw kale. Yes, kale, that darling of the health food world that's been glorified as the ultimate superfood. But here's what most nutritionists won't tell you. Raw kale contains high levels of oxalates and goitrogens. For seniors with diminished kidney function or thyroid issues, which are incredibly common after 60, these compounds can be problematic. Oxalates bind to calcium in your digestive tract, potentially contributing to kidney stones and reducing calcium absorption, the very mineral you're trying to preserve for bone health. Meanwhile, goitrogens can interfere with iodine uptake and thyroid function, potentially worsening hypothyroidism, which affects nearly 15% of adults over 65. When your metabolism is already naturally slowing with age, the last thing you need is a vegetable that might further suppress thyroid function. I remember working with Margaret, a 72-year-old who was doing everything right. She exercised daily, drank plenty of water, and had a massive kale salad for lunch every single day. Yet her joint pain was getting worse, not better. Her doctor kept increasing her medication, never questioning her diet. When we removed raw kale from her meals and replaced it with steamed leafy alternatives, her inflammation markers dropped significantly within just 6 weeks. I feel like I've gotten 10 years of my life back, she told me, fighting back tears during our follow-up session. To be clear, I'm not saying kale is inherently bad. For younger people without these issues, it can be wonderfully nutritious. Even for seniors, lightly steaming kale breaks down many of these problematic compounds. But the raw kale smoothies and salads that have been marketed as anti-aging miracles? For many seniors, they're doing more harm than good. Deeper understanding. The second problematic vegetable might surprise you even more: raw tomatoes. Now, technically, tomatoes are fruits, but we commonly use them as vegetables in our cooking. They contain solanine, a natural pesticide produced by nightshade plants. For the average person, the levels in tomatoes aren't concerning. But for seniors with arthritis, autoimmune conditions, or digestive sensitivities, which describes millions of people over 65, solanine can trigger inflammatory responses that exacerbate joint pain and digestive distress. What's more, the high acidity in raw tomatoes can worsen acid reflux and GERD, conditions that affect nearly 20% of adults over 65. When you're already taking medications that might irritate your stomach lining, adding highly acidic foods to the mix can create a perfect storm for digestive discomfort. James, an 82-year-old client of mine, had suffered from psoriatic arthritis for decades. Despite being on powerful immunosuppressants, he still experienced flare-ups that left him bedridden for days. We discovered he was eating tomato-based salads almost daily during summer months when his garden was producing heavily. When we experimented with eliminating raw tomatoes while still allowing cooked tomato sauces occasionally, since cooking reduces solanine, his flare-ups decreased by nearly 70%. His rheumatologist was stunned by the improvement. Again, I want to emphasize that cooking tomatoes reduces their solanine content significantly while enhancing lycopene, an antioxidant that's actually beneficial for aging hearts. So, tomato-based soups and sauces in moderation can be part of a healthy senior diet. It's the raw tomatoes, especially for those with inflammatory or digestive conditions, that deserve caution. Unexpected insight. The third vegetable on our caution list is one that might be sitting in your refrigerator right now: raw cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. Similar to kale, these vegetables contain goitrogens that can affect thyroid function, but they also present another challenge for seniors. They're extremely difficult to digest raw. As we age, our production of digestive enzymes naturally decreases. The complex carbohydrates and fiber in raw cruciferous vegetables require robust digestive power to break down properly. When these vegetables aren't fully digested, they ferment in the colon, leading to gas, bloating, and discomfort, symptoms many seniors mistakenly attribute to just getting old rather than specific food choices. Even more concerning, this incomplete digestion can create the perfect environment for harmful bacteria to thrive, potentially contributing to gut dysbiosis and chronic inflammation, a key driver of age-related diseases. The inflammation that starts in your gut doesn't stay there. It circulates throughout your body, potentially accelerating cognitive decline, cardiovascular damage, and joint deterioration. I worked with Robert, a 77-year-old who prided himself on eating raw broccoli every day for its cancer-fighting properties. He also suffered from constant bloating, erratic blood sugar, and worsening memory, all of which he attributed to normal aging. When we switched him to lightly steamed cruciferous vegetables, not only did his digestive symptoms improve dramatically, but his energy levels stabilized and his family noticed improvements in his mental clarity. I thought I was just getting senile, he confessed, but it seems I was just not digesting my food properly. The solution isn't to eliminate these nutritional powerhouses from your diet. It's to prepare them in ways that your aging digestive system can handle. Steaming, roasting, or sautéing cruciferous vegetables breaks down the tough cell walls and reduces goitrogens, making their nutrients more bioavailable while minimizing digestive distress. Critical warning: the fourth problematic vegetable category is perhaps the most overlooked: conventionally grown high-pesticide vegetables like bell peppers, celery, and spinach. While we've been conditioned to view all vegetables as healthy, we're rarely taught to consider the toxic burden they might carry, a burden that becomes increasingly significant as our detoxification systems naturally decline with age. According to the Environmental Working Group, these vegetables consistently rank among the dirty dozen, produced with the highest pesticide residues even after washing. For seniors whose liver and kidney function isn't as robust as it once was, these chemical residues can accumulate over time, potentially contributing to oxidative stress, hormonal disruption, and cognitive challenges. What makes this particularly relevant for seniors is that after age 65, your body's natural detoxification pathways become less efficient. The phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification processes slow down, and kidney filtration rates decrease by approximately 1% per year after 40. This means toxins that a younger body might process and eliminate efficiently can linger longer in aging tissues, potentially causing cumulative damage. I remember working with Elena, a 69-year-old who came to me with mysterious neurological symptoms that multiple specialists couldn't explain. She ate what she considered an impeccably healthy diet, large salads daily with plenty of conventional spinach and bell peppers. When we switched her to organic versions of these high-pesticide vegetables, her tremors and brain fog began to improve within weeks. 3 months later, she called me in tears. My neurologist wants to know what medication I'm taking because my symptoms have improved so dramatically. But all I did was change where I buy my vegetables. If budget constraints make buying everything organic impossible, which is reality for many seniors on fixed incomes, prioritizing organic versions of just these high pesticide vegetables while continuing to enjoy conventional versions of clean 15 produce can significantly reduce your toxic exposure without breaking the bank. Paradigm shift. Now that we've covered the vegetables that might be silently undermining your health, let's talk about the 4 powerhouse vegetables that research shows can specifically support your body's needs after 60. These aren't just generically healthy foods. They contain compounds that address the exact metabolic, inflammatory, and cellular challenges that emerge in later decades of life. The first vegetable champions for seniors are sweet potatoes and purple potatoes. Unlike white potatoes that can cause rapid blood sugar spikes, particularly problematic for seniors at risk for type 2 diabetes, these colorful alternatives contain complex carbohydrates that release glucose slowly, helping maintain stable energy and cognitive function throughout the day. Even more importantly, they're rich in anthocyanins and other antioxidants that fight oxidative stress, a major driver of brain aging, macular degeneration, and cardiovascular decline. A 2019 study published in the Journals of Gerontology found that seniors who consume purple potatoes specifically showed significant improvements in vascular function and blood pressure compared to those eating white potatoes. These root vegetables also provide resistant starch, which functions as a prebiotic to nourish beneficial gut bacteria. This is crucial because after 65, your gut microbiome naturally becomes less diverse, potentially contributing to inflammation and reduced nutrient absorption. The fiber and resistant starch in sweet and purple potatoes help restore microbial diversity, potentially improving everything from immune function to mood stability. Mary, an 84-year-old client who struggled with constipation and recurrent urinary tract infections, saw dramatic improvements when she started replacing her morning toast with roasted sweet potatoes. Within a month, not only had her digestive issues resolved, but her primary care physician noted improved kidney function markers on her blood work. "I've been trying to solve these problems with medications for years," she said. "Who would have thought the answer was so simple?" Transformative knowledge. The second powerhouse vegetable category for seniors is fermented vegetables like sauerkraut, kimchi, and fermented beets. As we age, stomach acid production naturally declines, sometimes by 40% or more by age 70, making it harder to break down proteins and absorb critical nutrients like B12, iron, calcium, and magnesium. This can contribute to everything from fatigue and anemia to osteoporosis and neuropathy. Fermented vegetables address this challenge beautifully. The fermentation process pre-digests many complex nutrients, making them more bioavailable even with decreased digestive capacity. They also deliver live probiotics that colonize the gut, enhancing your microbiome diversity and resilience far more effectively than probiotic supplements, which often contain only a few strains. Perhaps most relevant for seniors, fermented vegetables help balance inflammation. A 2020 study in the Journal of Nutrition found that adults who consumed fermented vegetables regularly had significantly lower inflammatory markers and better insulin sensitivity compared to non-consumers, with the strongest benefits observed in participants over 60. Herbert, a 91-year-old World War II veteran I worked with, was facing potential nursing home placement due to recurrent C. difficile infections that had left him weakened and malnourished. After introducing small amounts of homemade sauerkraut to his daily meals, his gut function stabilized within weeks. 6 months later, he was gardening again. "The doctors kept giving me stronger antibiotics," he told me, "but what I needed was to restore the good bacteria, not kill everything." For seniors new to fermented vegetables, starting with just a tablespoon daily and gradually increasing prevents digestive upset while allowing your microbiome to adjust. Look for unpasteurized versions in the refrigerated section of health food stores, or better yet, learn to make your own. It's surprisingly simple and far more economical than commercially produced varieties. Inner transformation. The third vegetable group that deserves a prominent place in every senior's diet is leafy bitter greens like arugula, endive, and dandelion greens. Unlike kale with its problematic oxalate content, these bitter greens offer a different profile of nutrients, particularly suited to the aging digestive system. The bitter compounds in these greens, which many Americans unfortunately try to breed out of our vegetables, stimulate bile production and gallbladder contraction, enhancing fat digestion and absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like D, K, and E. This is crucial because after 65, not only does gallbladder function typically decline, but vitamin D absorption decreases by up to 75% compared to younger adults. These bitter greens also support liver function, particularly important as the liver becomes less efficient at processing both medications and environmental toxins with age. A healthy liver is essential for hormone balance, blood sugar regulation, and even cognitive function, as it clears compounds that can contribute to brain fog when they accumulate. Dorothy, a 75-year-old with chronic eczema that had resisted multiple dermatological treatments, experienced a near-complete resolution of her skin symptoms after incorporating bitter greens into her daily meals. "My skin hasn't been this clear since my 40s, she marveled, and I've noticed my thinking seems sharper too. While the bitter flavor may take some adjustment if you're accustomed to sweeter vegetables, most seniors find that within 2 to 3 weeks, their palate adapts and even begins to crave these health-promoting flavors, starting with milder options like arugula, before progressing to more intensely bitter choices like dandelion greens, makes the transition easier. Radical realization. The fourth and final vegetable category that shows exceptional promise for supporting longevity is deeply pigmented red-purple vegetables like beets, red cabbage, and purple carrots. These vegetables derive their striking colors from betalains and anthocyanins, compounds with remarkable effects on vascular health and brain function. Research from the Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging shows that these pigments help preserve nitric oxide availability in blood vessels, critical for maintaining proper blood flow to the brain, heart, and extremities as we age. For seniors dealing with conditions like peripheral artery disease, vascular dementia, or even just cold hands and feet, these vegetables can make a noticeable difference in circulation and comfort. Even more impressive, a 2021 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors who consumed beetroot juice showed improvements in white matter integrity in the brain, essentially preserving the brain's information highways that typically deteriorate with age. Participants demonstrated better executive function and processing speed compared to controls, suggesting these vibrant vegetables might help preserve cognitive function. George, an 88-year-old former university professor concerned about his declining cognitive abilities, incorporated beet juice into his daily routine after reading about this research. Within 3 months, not only had his family noticed improvements in his word recall and conversation skills, but his blood pressure had also normalized enough that his physician was able to reduce his medication. "I feel like someone turned the lights back on in my mind," he said during our follow-up consultation. For seniors who find the earthy flavor of beets challenging, roasting brings out their natural sweetness, while adding a squeeze of lemon balances their flavor profile. Purple carrots offer a milder alternative with many of the same benefits and can be used interchangeably with orange carrots in most recipes. Profound insight. Now for the most important insight, the one I promised would transform how you think about nutrition after 60. What I've observed in working with thousands of seniors is that the aging body requires not just different foods, but different preparation methods and timing than what served you well in earlier decades. It's not enough to simply choose the right vegetables. How you prepare them, when you eat them, and what you pair them with can dramatically impact how your aging body processes and utilizes their nutrients. This is what I call the longevity preparation protocol, and it's something almost no conventional nutritionist will tell you about. First, consider thermal preparation. Raw vegetables require significant digestive effort your body may struggle to provide after 60. Light steaming, sautéing, or fermenting predigests fiber, deactivates problematic compounds like oxalates and goitrogens, and makes minerals more bioavailable. Simply switching from raw to properly cooked vegetables can resolve digestive issues that seniors have suffered with for years. Second, consider metabolic timing. Your insulin sensitivity follows a natural rhythm that shifts with age, typically becoming more efficient earlier in the day and less effective in the evening. This means starchier vegetables like sweet potatoes are best consumed before 2 p.m., while non-starchy options like bitter greens are more suitable for evening meals. This simple adjustment can improve energy levels, sleep quality, and even cognitive function. Third, consider synergistic pairing. Certain nutrients in vegetables require specific cofactors to be properly absorbed and utilized. Beta-carotene in orange and purple vegetables needs healthy fat to be converted to active vitamin A. Iron in leafy greens requires vitamin C to be properly absorbed. For seniors already dealing with reduced absorptive capacity, these pairings become critical for preventing subtle nutrient deficiencies that accelerate aging. Patricia, a 79-year-old who had followed conventional nutrition advice for decades, was shocked when we discovered she was severely deficient in vitamin A despite religiously consuming carrots daily. The missing piece? She'd been following outdated low-fat dietary advice, removing the very fats her aging body needed to convert beta-carotene to active vitamin A. Simply adding olive oil to her carrots resolved her night vision problems within weeks. Final message. As we conclude this journey, I want to leave you with one transformative truth. Aging is not a disease to be feared, but a natural process to be optimized. The decline many associate with growing older isn't inevitable. Much of it stems from accumulated cellular damage from inflammatory foods, environmental toxins, and nutritional gaps that are entirely within your power to address. By being strategic about avoiding the 4 problematic vegetables we discussed, raw kale, raw tomatoes, raw cruciferous vegetables, and high pesticide conventional produce, while embracing sweet purple potatoes, fermented vegetables, bitter greens, and deeply pigmented red-purple vegetables, you're not just adding years to your life, you're adding life to your years. Remember Margaret, who regained mobility after removing raw kale? James, whose arthritis flares diminished when he avoided raw tomatoes? Robert, whose cognitive function improved after switching to cooked cruciferous vegetables? Elena, whose neurological symptoms resolved after choosing organic produce? Mary, Herbert, Dorothy, George, and Patricia, all of whom experienced transformations not through expensive supplements or medical interventions, but through strategic vegetable choices aligned with their aging body's needs. Their stories could be your story too, because the most powerful medicine isn't found in a pill bottle, it's found on your plate, in the everyday food choices that either accelerate or reverse the aging process at the cellular level. I encourage you to approach this information not with fear about what you've been doing wrong, but with excitement about the possibilities that await when you align your nutrition with your body's changing needs. Start with just one swap this week. Perhaps steaming your kale instead of eating it raw, or adding fermented vegetables to one meal daily. Small, consistent changes yield profound results over time. And remember, you deserve to thrive in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. Not just to survive, but to live with vitality, clarity, and purpose. The choices you make today shape the health you'll enjoy tomorrow. Choose wisely, and your future self will thank you. Thought question. What's one vegetable swap from today's discussion that you could implement this week? Share in the comments. I read every single one and would love to hear about your journey toward optimal aging.